give all praise unto Yahweh Shem Yahushai, and double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and honors to you brothers out there on the highways and the byways, teaching this word in all sincerity and in truth. Shalom to you brothers listening and learning, supporting the ministry, and also to the sisters as well. Alright, I just want to make quick response to this French elections, the terrorist attack which happened in Paris, and linking that in with the mark of the beast, man, we're at the door of that prophecy being fulfilled. Okay, there's already people receiving the mark of the beast as we speak, willingly, for various, different reasons, whether they be in the military, whether they be in healthcare, whatever the case may be. That technology is out there, and there are people already taking it, man, in various sectors of this man's society, which that's what the mark of the beast involves. It ultimately is going to connect all the different sectors of Esau society in one system. Okay, so you have that chip, and you will use that chip to access all areas of this man's system, whether it be healthcare, whether it be education, whether it be travel or infrastructure, whatever the case may be. It's all going to be in the Internet of Things. That's going to juice you in. Now, this article says Marine Le Pen gets poll boost after Paris attack as Donald Trump says her chances of victory have improved. And she's basically the Donald Trump of France. She's part of the far right, which the right has been on the rise in Europe, man, as a result of all this chaos that's been going on with these terrorist attacks and immigration and all these things, man, which is all planned. It's all set up. It's part of the Hegelian dialectic, the rise of nationalism, and then to blame the world war on nationalism. So the elites know what they're doing. All these guys are puppets. Le Pen is a puppet. Trump is a puppet. They're just playing their role. Not saying that the sentiment of nationalism isn't a real sentiment among the people, but nevertheless, it's being controlled and co-opted by the elites, man. That's how they roll. But enough of that. I want to get straight to the point regarding the mark of the beast. Now, it says here, cancelling visits and meetings on Friday, candidates traded blows across the airwaves, and as it emerged that the ISIL-backed gunman had been kept in custody just 24 hours in February, despite attempts to procure weapons to murder police. So with each terrorist attack, what happens is the pressure then is on the government to more and more, basically, you be able to use more powers against the people, like you got the in America, they got the what's it called, NDAA, which pretty much gives NDAA and the Patriot Act gives the government power to disappear you without no trial, no jury, no nothing, no explanation. Through the fear of terrorism, they now have the power to basically remove your so-called human rights. And that's where this thing is leading. And that's the New World Order. In the New World Order, you have no rights. The state owns you, man. The state decides what happens to your ass, man. Judge Dredd style. And that's the point we're coming to. And more people, every time one of these terrorist attacks happens, people call for the government to take more control, to have more power, which is going to backfire on them, because they're going to find out that the state, it ain't about Islamism. It's all about the state being able to use those powers against you. When you start protesting because your bank account's been emptied out, your life savings been wiped out by the international bankers, and you call yourself trying to protest, you gonna be a terrorist in that day, and they're gonna disappear you. But anyway, it says the ISIL-backed gunman had been kept in custody for just 24 hours in February. So, as usual with these terrorist attacks, if you've been watching them across Europe, the suspects or the guys involved were always known to the security forces or the security services, yet still they were allowed to still go ahead, plan, and carry out a terrorist attack. All right? Now, what you got to understand is this is nothing more than problem, reaction, solution. And eventually, the solution is going to be that if you are a suspect of being a terrorist, you're going to have to be chipped. If they're going to have you walking around in broad daylight, you're going to have to be chipped so that your every action and purchase can be tracked. Okay, because if this dude was chipped, okay, he wouldn't have been able to basically have the freedom to walk up and down and do what he did. They would be tracking him at all times. They could easily surveil him. All right, so that's where they're going with this thing. All right, you heard it here. All right, Xavier Jugeli or whatever, 37, a policeman who had been deployed in the 2015 Bataclan attack, was killed in a shooting. And this dude is nothing more than a sacrifice for the New World Order. All these terrorist attacks are nothing but blood sacrifices in order for them to bring in the New World Order. Okay, order out of chaos. All right. It says Miss Le Pen, the far-right candidate, blasted the mainstream, naive left and right for failing to get tough on Islamism, tough on Islamism. When they say tough on Islamism, replace Islam with whoever they deem, because that's what it's going to be. Because whenever they give themselves these powers and these legislative powers, like the NDAA, Islamism isn't even mentioned in the document, because it's not about Islamism. Ultimately, these powers are going to be used on the public as a whole to control the people. All right, so left and right for failing to get tough on. By tough, they mean being draconian, okay? Calling for France to instantly reinstate border checks and expel foreigners who are on the watch list of intelligence services. Now, I'm here to tell you that you can expect that the day is going to come where the solution of chipping these terror suspects is going to be implemented, man, just like that. And guess what? The people are going to be with it, because it's going to be deemed for their security. All right, you see, a lot of you people out there, we warn you about this mark of the beast, right? And you think it's a joke, man. But when they actually spring this thing on you, they bring in that chaos and they spring this mark of the beast on you. Like, look, man, you got to take this chip. To be a citizen of America, you got to have this chip. To be a citizen of Britain, you got to have this chip. Okay, when they spring it on you, out of that chaos, man, that they're going to bring, you're going to be confounded, man. All you guys from ISUPK, IUIC, you Israelites, and anyone else who don't believe that the mark of the beast is the implantable RFID chip, when this thing starts becoming mandatory, man, and starts lifting off, right, you are going to be confounded, man. Now, I want to read some of this article, then I'm going to get a scripture and we're going to get out of here. All right, because I don't want to go on for too long. I'm a bit long-winded sometimes, but this is from the RFID Inside. Now, this article is exactly, well, pretty much 10 years ago, okay? And as you can see, there's an image there of people with chips in them. All right, now, basically, it goes into how far-reaching the RFID implant can be in terms of everyday life. It says, I'm going to start from the point. Power systems engineer with experience in high-power motor controller design must be U.S. citizen and have valid IOSA 1443 compatible access control of our RFID implant. Sound far-fetched? Today, yes. A decade from now, maybe not. And we're exactly a decade on from this article. With the proliferation of radio frequency identification technology, why is that radio frequency technology become ubiquitous? Why has it been proliferated in every sector? Let's get RFID journal of this man's society. You think that's an accident? RFID Arena would do. You think it's an accident that you could go... Let me get RFID journal. Right, you can go to let me get this. Right, this is a better way to view it. Now, if you look here, where it says, look, Internet of Things, aerospace, apparel, energy, defense, healthcare, logistics, manufacturing, retail, right? The list goes on of the different sectors that use RFID technology in some way, shape, or form. This is not an accident. This is something which is set up, man. All right, this is set up. All right, it's no accident that this cash-free system being pushed by Visa and MasterCard, man. This is all set up, man. See, to the layman, it looks like this thing is a natural progression, but you got to understand that these technologies were who paid for this research, man. It's all set up, man. Anyway, with the proliferation of radio frequency identification technology and the recent but increasing use of implantable RFID chips in humans, we may already be on the path that would make such an ad commonplace in 2017 issue of the IEEE Spectrum. The benefits would be undeniable. An implantable RFID chip, which is durable and about the size of a grain of rice, can hold or link to information about the identity, physiological characteristics, your biometrics, because the RFID chip is going to be linked to a database with all your information, including your biometrics, man. All right, health, nationality, and security clearances of the person it's embedded in. So this thing is real. The proximity of your hand could start your car or unlock your front door or let an emergency room physician know you are diabetic even if you are unconscious. Once implanted, the chip and the information it contains are always with you. You never lose your keys again. But there is a darker side, namely the erosion of our privacy and our right to bodily integrity. After all, do you really want to be required to have a foreign object implanted in your arm just to get or keep a job? And once you have it, do you really want your employee to know whenever you leave the office? And do you want every RFID reader equipped supermarket checkout counter to note your presence and your preferences? Well, at the end of the day, these people ain't gonna have no choice. It's either that or you gonna have to face either death or expulsion from this man's society, imprisonment, whatever the case may be. All right, they don't look, man. The majority of the people are gonna take this chip because of the pressure that is gonna be put on them through the chaos, man. Right, the pressure. He's gonna show you the way out. He's gonna put pressure on you, and the way out that he's gonna show you is through the chip. But if you're a man of the Lord, your way out you gonna take is Yahweh Shai. It says, until a couple of years ago, chipping was largely the domain of cybernetics provocateurs like Kevin Warwick or hobbyists like Amal Grafstra, all right, which these people all set up. Then in 2004, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, which regulates medical devices in the United States, approved the RFID tag for implantation in humans as a means of accessing a person's health records. This tag, called a VeriChip, is a short-range transponder that relies on the signal from a reader unit for its power supply. When exposed by a very magnetic field from the reader, the chip powers itself up and repeatedly transmits a 16-digit code that is unique to the tag. According to the company, 2,000 people have already had tags implanted. So these people already have the mark of the beast, even though the overall system isn't complete yet. Okay, but it's being put together as we speak. The VeriChip tag is part of a health information system called VeriMed. The code which VeriChip also want to do chips for immigrants. That because you got the whole illegal immigrant being a point of chaos as well. One of the solutions they're saying for these refugees that are coming into the country is to chip them. See, you know what, man? You people, you're gonna find out real soon, because they're gonna make shit happen, and in the midst of that chaos, they're gonna spring this on the people, man. The code contained in the implanted chips points to a record in a database identifying the patient and containing the patient's records. Okay, blah 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 blah. It says the tag is also finding use as a kind of implanted credit card. In trendy nightclubs in the Netherlands, Scotland, Spain, and United States, patrons can get chipped at cost of about $165 in one establishment. In future visits, by the time you walk through the door to the bar, one proprietor told Britain's Daily Telegraph, your favorite drink is waiting for you and the bar staff can greet you by your name. So that's the chip can be used to do transactions. And the list of proposed applications could grow quickly. VeriChip is advancing a scheme to chip soldiers as a replacement for a soldier's traditional dog tag, and a VeriChip officer has proposed chipping guest workers entering the United States. Before too many of those suggestions become reality, we need to examine carefully the very real dangers of RFID implants could pose to our privacy and our freedom. But that's all, that the privacy and the freedom of it. First of all, people are used to their information being out there anyway. Social media has made people comfortable with not having privacy. If you've ever done a job with where I've worked in the insurance industry where I have to take information from people, and let me tell you this, getting information from the younger generation is so fucking easy. All you got to do is ask them the question and they will readily tell you anything you want to know. But whenever I talk to the older generation, when I used to do that job, they always questioned why I wanted to know what I'm asking. And they would say, do you have to know? And I have to say, well, it's not really required. And they'll say, look, I don't want to tell you, because they grew up in a time where they were more aware of their own privacy. But in this day and age, people don't care, man, about privacy. They've eroded that through social media. They've gotten people to be more open about themselves. People don't care. They'll get an app. They'll just, tick the app. Look, man, whatever. I just want to use the app. I don't care what the app's accessing to my phone or who's seen it. So, people, you know what I'm saying? And so when that chaos comes, people are not going to consider, oh, I'm losing my privacy, I'm losing my rights. They just want the benefits that come with the chip. All right, the goodies. All right? Right, so that's the point on that. So I just want to bring out two scriptures. I'll come back to Isaiah 33. Well, not Isaiah 33. I wanted Peter's one. Let me get that in Peter's real quick. This is 1 Peter 2:6. Wherefore also it is contained in the scripture, behold, I lay in Zion a chief cornerstone, elect, precious, and he that believeth on him shall not be confounded. Now, when you believing on Yahushua, man, that also encompasses believing on the prophecies. Okay, and one of the prophecies is the mark of the beast. All right. The scripture says that the spirit of Yahushua is the spirit of prophecy. That's why the Lord has his prophets out here to tell the people the prophecies, man, which basically tells them what to believe in. So we believe that the mark of the beast is going to be instituted, and that's the implantable microchip. That's part of prophecy. That's part of this faith. So when it comes to pass, we're not going to be confounded. The scripture says if you believe in Yahushua, you ain't going to be confounded, man, because everything that happens, you already know. You already understand what's going on. All right? You understand. America's going to be destroyed. You understand this. The mark of the beast, you understand. The chariots of the Lord, you understand. Certain men are going to be martyrs or have to go and be imprisoned. You understand. You're not confounded when these things happen. You trust in what the scriptures said because you know the scriptures spoke of this. And Yahushua always told his disciples what was going to happen before it happened so that they wouldn't bug out. And that's what we're doing. We're letting the people know what's going to happen beforehand. So when it happens, they don't bug out. They just trust in the Lord and they're grounded. Okay, they believe in what the Lord said. Now, Revelations 13:16 says, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. All right, so that's whether they're a person of no worth in this society or a great person, so-called celebrity, whether they're rich or whether they're poor, right? Whether they're free, meaning they can walk up and down the streets, or whether they're bond, whether they're imprisoned. Yet they're going to have to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead, and that no man might buy or sell, which represents what? Transactions. Which everything in this man's society is now a transaction. There is nothing that you don't pay for. All right, everything you do has to involve some form of transaction, whether it's money, whether you got to issue a document. Everything is a transaction. Well, if you got to get a license for something, guess what? That's a transaction. Look up the meaning of a transaction. Okay? It goes deeper than money, which everything in this society is quantified, and it's all the values, man, being exchanged. When you go on the bus, that's a transaction, man. All right? When you use your passport, that's a transaction, man. All right? There's transactions and processes happening on that computer. Okay? And that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. So you ain't gonna be able to do shit in this man's society unless you got that chip. Okay, you ain't gonna be able to pass checkpoints. You ain't gonna be able to do nothing. And that's where it's coming to. And they're gonna spring it on you in the midst of setting up what terrorist attacks and chaos. They're gonna put it on the people. That's how it works. All right. So going back to 1 Peter 2:6, it says, "You shall not be confounded." So when they start chipping these terror suspects and all that, which eventually the so-called black Hebrew Israelites, we're really just Hebrew Israelites, we're gonna be deemed terror suspects. And guess what? They're gonna want a chip. They're gonna want us to have the chip so they could track and trace us for security measure. But we're not gonna take the chip. You know, if you're a man of the Lord. Now, a lot of these guys from IUIC, when that happens, or ICPK, they're going to bug out. They're going to start bugging out. They're going to start doubting everything they've been taught because what's happening don't make sense. And the reason it don't make sense is that they were taught the wrong way. Now, when you go into the word confounded, all right, we're going to get an understanding of the word. I look at this word confounded. I didn't want this to be this long, but hey, the information comes out. Now, the word to be confounded means to dishonor, disgrace, to put to shame, make ashamed, to be ashamed, blush with fame. One is said to be put to shame who suffers a repulse or whom some hope has deceived. So if you believe in something, right, and that thing comes to naught and something else happens, you become confounded, you become anxious, you become in a state of confusion because something's happened that you didn't expect. You're now surprised. The men of the Lord cannot be surprised because everything that's going to happen, the Lord reveals it, man. Didn't Yahweh Shai say, look, the servant don't know what his master doeth, but he called us friends because the Lord has revealed what he's doing to us. And part of that is the mark of the beast. All right. And that's why we're not going to be surprised and confounded. But these guys who don't believe and believe something else, they're going to be confounded. Now, you look at the word confounded from confound, which means what? Cause surprise or confusion in someone, especially by not according with their expectations, man. These guys from RUIC, these guys from ICPK, they do not expect the implantable microchip to be forced upon them to become mandatory. And therefore, when it happens, they're going to be confused. They're going to be confounded, man. All right? And they're going to be broken. Because the scripture says what? Knowledge and wisdom shall be the stability of thy times and strength of salvation. These guys are not going to be stable in the mind in that day because they're going to be all confused as to what's going on. Which if they dare listen to the apostles and elders of GreatMillStone, they wouldn't be confounded. But the time is coming. The time is coming where they're gonna do multiple attacks. They're gonna crash markets, do all kind of crazy, chaotic shit, which that they're already bringing us into that. And the answer to everything ultimately is gonna be that chip, man. They're gonna push it out there. All right, hardcore, new emergency measure. It's gonna be a new emergency measure, man, and people are gonna accept it. So anyway, with that, I'm gonna say shalom.